buy on this single event or the single competition as will be announced CS Startup Network Voucher. We can continue to build the strength of CS Startup Network. We have to connect more countries and also to connect with more strategic partners, not only in Czech Republic and Slovak Republic, maybe from the Poland, Hungary, and also the Central and Eastern Europe. Our goal is not just to run one annual competition, it's also about to create a lasting network that brings the CA together. So at the last of my words, I'd like to invite to the final of our competition, CS Startup Voucher, which will be in Žilina, 11th of November, and I hope that we'll see from this side, also from online side. So thank you very much and enjoy this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Michal. And Michal will be here throughout the whole event, so don't be afraid to ask him about what Innovia doing. Yeah. And now I'm inviting Martin Mikuláš, who is part of CE Startup Voucher for more than 2 years, and now he also has a new role as a scout for our innovation center. So Martin, could you please come here and introduce the competition to our audience?
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So hello everybody. As you heard, my name is Martin. It's really nice to see you and meet you. I'm glad that there's so many new faces in our ecosystem where I feel like the pool is getting smaller and smaller. So welcome. I appreciate you coming here. You may have also heard that I'm a scout, so I'm looking out for you all, trying to remember your faces and your names, and I will be sliding into your emails later on. I'm here today to tell you about the CE Startup Voucher, which is basically the culmination of our activities from the CE Startup Network. It's basically a funding tool through which we're trying to make an impact in the CE region. So what does it entail, or who are we looking for? We're basically looking for everybody, right, from everywhere, as long as you're willing to make impact in the CE region, be it move here, or have your operations here. It's early stage startups, right? So you can be in your ideation phase, proof of concept, or MVP. Also, you have to be scalable and also have the ambition of growing globally, right? Even beyond borders of CE region. I've got plenty of time left, so I can slow down at this point, or we can have buffer. But why should you really listen to me and pay attention? Well, this is an opportunity in which you can compete for 25,000 euros without much administration burden, right? We won't ask you for receipts as long as you use your money wisely. You cannot use your money for staff costs and stuff, but I won't go into detail. You can read the project manual on our website. You will also get access to Czech, Polish, and Slovakian markets, as well as German markets, because, I mean, if you look around yourself, we've got people from Slovakia, from Žilina here today, as well as people from Czech Republic. We also are giving you a space and opportunity for networking and matchmaking through events such as these, and also the finals that will be hosted in Žilina on 11th of November. One of the best things about our initiative is the fact that everybody will come out with something. By something I mean feedback, expert and tailored feedback to your project. If you apply for the CE Startup Voucher, you go through the entire process and you ask for it when you get the rating. And it's also visibility for you guys. If you make it to top 10, we will talk about you, we will feature you on our social media and make sure that you get the visibility that you so deserve. What do you have to do? You have to apply, go to our website, cstartup.network, go to cstartup voucher, hit apply. You need to record a short video so that we can get a vibe for who you are, who's in your team, what's their expertise and stuff. If you're, with people to go on a beer. Then it's about waiting, right? We get the first round results. If you make it further, there will be semifinals and then finals. So you will know if you win 25,000 euros of unrestricted financing on 11th of November in Girona. Thank you so much, guys. I hope that I at least enticed you to join the CEST Voucher. If not, I will be happy to talk to you and meet you and have beer with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Martin, for the introduction of CEST Voucher. And it's not only about the domain prize, but it's also about open innovation vouchers. And we have two companies that are involved in open innovation vouchers. And unfortunately, Martin couldn't make it to Ostrava, so I'm asking again Michael to replace him and introduce the first open innovation challenge that is proposed by company iProbio.
Thank you. Unfortunately, as Ivan said, Martin has some health issue. Unfortunately, I was not prepared to present this, but okay, I will try. So, iProbio is one of the CA startup voucher partner with Microbiome Explorer Challenge. It's a special challenge for early stage startup looking for guidance, visibility, funding, network, and financial reward, but it's especially for areas like probiotics, postbiotics, and symbiotics. Also, we are talking about the fermentation technology and fermented functional food. Microbiome, also systemic health, such as gut brain, gut skin, and also gut liver, and analytical methods with a personalized and targeted modulation microbiome. It looks very strange, but I hope that some founders found some issue and the scope of this explorer. Because why join for this partner? Because it's a partner of CA Startup Voucher. It's also to get industry expert feedback, and also win prizes and strategic opportunities. Build network with key decision maker and sharpen your pitch story and accelerate your go-to-market deadlines. So why iProbio joined to force with CA Startup Network, also to join this strength with us. Now you can directly, when you register, you can find this microbiome challenge at the first step of registration in the registration of your startup. You can win 2 awards. First award is the award with a consultation in 25,000 euro directly. It's the consultation services, and 5,000 in cash prizes directly from our partner. And what will be the jury for this partner? It's the CEO of iProbio, Martin Haranta. It's microbiome founder and CEO. And next one is Peter Kuti, business angel of the iProbio, and investor, business strategy with experience of probiotic market and product development. And last one is Dr. Benjamin Jensen, who is associate professor at University of Copenhagen, leads research on good microbiomes, metabolic health, and nutrition. So this is the main things, and you can also reach the feedback from world-class jury. It's about researcher driving innovation. It's about industry with success biotech and biotech companies. And what you gain, and I said the prices, the consultancy, and also the cash prices, and also the feedback for your pitch, insights, clinical translation, regulatory navigation, and market positioning, and also identification of gaps and opportunities you might have missed. So this is our first partner of CS Startup Network, CS Startup Voucher, and next one we'll introduce Ivan. Thank you very much.
So, unfortunately, the second partner couldn't make it as well. So the business people are either ill or busy. So Mr. Thomas from LPP company, which is defense tech company from Czech Republic, he recorded a video for us, and we will play it for you so you can find out more about the challenge. And if you have any questions, we can still put you in contact with Mr. Thomas.
Hello again to everyone. Let me quickly present myself and our company and the goals that we want to achieve in cooperation together. So very briefly, my name is Jan Thomas. I'm technical director of the LPP holding, and as a holding, we are currently focusing on different type of development of technologies, mostly focusing into the defense sector, defense, security, as well as communication and data sharing systems. And why we are here together right now, we want to propose two, let's say, goals for us. The first one is connected with our products that we are producing, and what we are looking for is the trying to find the best solution how to store the energy for our products, how to use the energy for communication, for data sharing, and for storage. So we are looking for the innovative types of storing of the energy, keeping the energy in the new format, in variables, in small form factor, and with high density to be used for our products. We are looking for the solutions that are, let's say, innovative on the market. They are new with the approach how to store the energy, as well as how to make the energy more mobile. So this is the first thing. Second one, connected as well with the data sharing. As a company involved in navigational systems, we are producing different type of format how to navigate in different terrain. And what we are looking for right now is how we can use new approaches for navigation in areas where the GPS is extremely jammed or spoofed or unable to get specific data for navigate not only for person but as well for vehicles in cities, in crowd places, how to find the best solution to get exact position very quickly, very accurately, and how to share the information of the position between the systems. So that's why, together with the navigation, would be fine to get as low bandwidth for sharing of the position between the units. So that's why the importance for communication and sharing of the position is crucial. That's two, let's say, goals for us. First one, battery systems, innovative battery systems, and communication systems together with the position is something that we are really looking for, and we are quite open to find the best solution that could be for you innovative, for us innovative, as well as for as well to cover the first, let's say, level of the technology covered by the voucher. We are quite open to start with the 5,000 euros to cover all the necessary expenses. And for the future, I'm pretty sure that we will find the best solution how to cover everything for proposing of the product on the market. So this is it from me up to now. And throughout our colleagues, we will be in touch. So good luck, and I'm looking for your proposals. Thank you very much.
So this was the second Open Innovation Challenge that is available. So quite a great opportunities for you guys. So we have the main cash prize, and we have two Open Innovation Challenges. And it's not only about money, so it's all about the cooperation. And it's, if you are running startup, you know that starting cooperation with the bigger companies is quite problematic because you can find the right people. So here they are. So don't be afraid to start cooperation with that. Okay, so this is about the voucher. So now let's move to the funding side of today's event, and I think the best is to listen to somebody who has a lot of experiences. I remember when I first met Jakub, it was like 2 years ago in a small room with a lot of gadgets with the two of his colleagues, and we discussed a possible way how to go forward, and they made forward very well so far since then. So I would like to invite Jakub to the stage and ask him to share his up and downs and his journey up till now. So Jakub, the floor is yours, and maybe to the rest of the people, we have still some free chairs here, so if you don't mind, so you can also use here. So please.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Hello, everyone. My name is Jakub Szlaur. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Edmund AI, a startup specialized in digital maintenance worker. So maybe to first say a few things about like Edmund, how we came to be, why I'm here, to give you a little backstory so you can maybe better understand the fuck-ups along the way. As we call them, and the learnings. So we started 3 years ago, not as Edmund, but as Edema Solutions. We were a service agency focusing on services for industrial companies. We were doing monitoring systems, IoT systems, and other services like consultancy, etc. And we basically talked to, I would say, like hundreds of engineers and always heard the same problems that they encounter. And at that time, we were looking at the market, and then there wasn't a real solution that they could buy. So we said, all right, let's take those problems and create a platform. We slapped a name called Edmund, and we said, all right, let's do that. We created a PowerPoint presentation, and we started raising our first money with just that and a little MVP. We went through Accelerator in Prague, Sherpa, Accelerator of Czech founders. Then we raised our first money, pre-seed, in December of 2024. And now, 9 months later, we are starting to raise another round, our seed round. I would say one of the first fuck-ups and things that we did wrong was that when we start talking to investors, because I basically ended university and then went straight to doing admin, so I didn't have much experience, and I didn't know what a VC is, what is a cap table, what is raise, what is valuation, none of that. I had zero clue, and I was taking the VCs as the holy grail of truth. They were telling me everything because they already did their startups, they did the big exits, they had millions of euros in their portfolios, and I thought that they were telling me all the right things to do, and that was the first fuck up. Because to be true, only you can know about your product the most, and your customers, not anyone from the VC world. Even when they seem really, really clever, the most cleverest VCs are actually trying to help you learn more, not telling you exactly what to do. And one of the advices that we get early on was that, all right, you need to only solely focus on Edmund, which at first you might be asking, well, that's obvious, of course you need to focus on Edmund, but we already had Adéla, we were doing some revenue, and we had a team of people working there, and what we basically did was like kill this company, and from that transform it completely to Edmund. And now when I'm looking at the past, I would say this was a big problem because from there we were not self-sufficient. We didn't generate any revenue, and we were completely dependent from the capital of our VCs, which of course they liked because they were now they had us under our necks basically. But if we kept Adéla, things wouldn't move maybe that fast. That's true. But bootstrapping makes it better in terms of your cap table, right? Because you don't need to raise as much capital from the beginning, and that I feel like was one of the mistakes that we basically did. Also, one of the mistakes that we did was that we didn't really understand the stage that we were at, and that was also because like I would encourage you, if you all want to do a product and you only have like experience in services where you have team of I don't know, engineers doing work for other agencies and etc. You are basically doing like consultancy and services based on where you sell your time. Doing a product is something completely different. People buying products or companies buying products look completely different in, on the sales cycle, whether they are buying someone's time. And for me, that change was a big one because I didn't have previous experience, and I would just encourage you to look as much deeply into like how this is done, how this is work, and etc. And from that, because I didn't know how a product is being built, what to do, where to look at, what people I should be hiring. I didn't know the stage I was at, and that's also where our presi, basically the first half year of our presi, we were trying to chase as many clients as possibly we could, like just chasing leads. And looking back, that was completely wrong. We had our first two customers, and we should have just focused on them. Be there on the factory floor with them, talk to them every day, and not be somewhere on conferences doing networking and trying to get as many new clients as possible, because the product, it is really important to get the MVP right. And sometimes where people are talking about MVP, they think about some demo or think about like a product that works actually. But it's really important to look what MVP means. MVP means minimal viable product, and viable is really important. The product should, in its minimal stage, give value to the customer at the really beginning. It can be anything. It doesn't have to scale technically. It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to do everything that you want it to do in 1 year forward. But it has to bring value to your customer. And this part, to get it right, I would say is why some of the startups fail, and why, when you look at the biggest like venture capital firms like YC Combinator, and when you listen to some of their podcasts, this is basically like what they are saying to you: be there with your customers, talk to them, and understand them truly deeply. Because sometimes why they are buying your product, it's not even like that you are saving them money. It's sometimes not even that you are saving them time. It's some other things that motivate them to buy your things, right? And this to get right is it can take time, and that time you need to spend it basically with your customers there. But again, this is all what I'm saying is it can sound to some of you smart, to some of you it can sound stupid, but you need to take this and apply it to your position, because nobody knows your position better than yourselves, and you need to be brutally honest with yourselves and brutally honest with your product. If somebody tells you that if some things doesn't go well, you always have to look back at yourself in the mirror and tell you what I could have done better, that this actually couldn't go the right way, right? Because when somebody says, I don't want your product, I don't want this, leaves your team or does something, you need to change the mindset that you cannot like control everything, but you need to take their feedback into account, like what you could have done differently so that it will happen, or it could have gone a different way. This is also like the one of the things that I didn't have really that mindset at the beginning, and I feel like changing that and trying to get as much feedback from everyone around you, and just like compiling everything and trying to navigate between that was something that really helped us push past that first few months of struggle. Yeah. Also, Ivan always tells me that Jakub talk about grants, etc., etc. So I will say one thing about grants, and one of the biggest fuck up with grants that we had was that we didn't hire a person who specialized in grants in our company. And as founders, we're trying to actually like go through the administration process, apply for the grants, then do all that back and forth. And I would say, if you want to do grants, do them, but hire actually someone who knows what the hell they are doing. Because if you don't, trust me, it can get really ugly real fast, and it can take so much time. Because here in Czech Republic, I would say still, even though they are trying to make it faster the process, it still is, I would say, a bureaucracy war to get money from the state here in Czech Republic, at least from my experience, which is limited. And also, one of the mistakes that we did back in the day was that if you're raising money, it is always a fight between like how much of your company give at that certain stage for capital, and so we are looking. I don't want to give much percentages, right? I need to have like normal valuation, but for some money, we have raised 500,000 euros. It was for 14% at the time, and I would say my mistake then was that I wasn't fighting more for a bigger valuation, and I didn't fight for more money, because 500,000 euros is truly nothing. And to build a startup, mainly from a position of Czech Republic, if you go to Western VCs, we seem like east to them here in Czech Republic, so it's not like we are in a great position, I would say, that you need to hire top talent. And in today's market, top talent needs really big cash for you to pay for them. So, and you are not fighting. The top talent is not like talking only to you; they are talking to companies here in Czech Republic like Rodik, like Zaslukovna, and like these like really great companies or news here. And these companies can guarantee them really nice cash. They can guarantee them ESOP percentages from the money they make, and you need to really try your best, even though you don't have to offer as much, to really get the top talent. I'm glad that we did hire, I would say, really one of the best people in their representative areas. We were fighting for them for some of the companies I mentioned, and even with companies other that I didn't. So that's really great, I would say, and really focus on your team, because at the beginning it can be only you, the founders, that are doing all the work, but very soon it won't be that the company scales because of you, but because of the team. And I would say as soon as you start focusing on the team around you and start automating processes, start looking to make even some processes inside the company and making it basically scalable. That is like the biggest thing that VCs are looking for. Like, how can you scale, right? When I'm talking to VCs, they are of course looking at traction, looking at like how many leads I'm generating, what is your month-on-month revenue growth, etc., etc. But the biggest VCs, they are giving millions of dollars to even just ideas, right? And this is where you need to have such an idea that it's possible to like scale from 0 to million in now with AI agents. It's possible in a few months, or I don't know. Within the that we are much slower, but our investors are from I would say the industrial space, so they understand that the scaling there is a little bit, I don't want to say harder, but basically slower than everyone else in their sectors. But it's not as slow as health tech, for example, that is completely different, different thing, different sector than ours. So 1 minute, I think I have said pretty much every mistake that I did. So if you...
Is it really all? Is it really all?
No, they are some of them are from last week, so.
Okay, so we can save them for the panel discussion. Thank you very much, Jakub, for your honest testimonial. Okay, thank you so much. And now it's time for the panel. So I would like to invite all the speakers here to front. And Ivan will be the one who will be moderating the panel. So
I'm taking the other mic, so my panelists could share the rest of the two, and maybe I would ask the organizers to get some voucher. And yeah, so thank you very much for being here. What we are going to talk about is different approaches to funding. It's funding horizons. The horizon may be different for each startup, for each company, and we are glad that we have 2 different points from the companies here, and also from the venture funds and from the representative of the grant advisory. So, a part of Jakub, who already presented himself, we have Píchová from Profit, where he acts as a CTO. Then we have Veronika Drubakova from 0100 Ventures, where she acts as investment associate. And last but not least is Miro Konečný from Adsen, who's a funding consultant and angel investor. So welcome to Ostrava, and I'm really happy to have you here. You will have the opportunity to present yourself in a short while. But after listening to Jakub, and he introduced his perspective of getting the venture funding. Then we will talk a little bit about the grants. So I would like to now start with Peter, and because he's representing not the startup any longer, the Profit is a company. He is acting as a CTO, and it's an example of the company who bootstrap themselves. So if you maybe start with the company itself, about your history, and the main question is your approach to funding. Why you decided for bootstrapping?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Píchová. I am CTO at Profit. So Profit, we are like small company. We have about 60 people, and we have been on the market for the 15 years now. So and so what we do partly like software engineering services, mainly for US clients. So about 80% of our clients are from the US market, and from that, about 50% of them are startups. So we are very close to the startups. We are like our vision is bringing tech innovation to life. So that's what we like, and that's what we do. And yeah, like bootstrapping a company, like 15 years, just 60 people. I think that it could grow much, much like faster. But one thing which we did, and we always do, is that we focus on the quality because we aim for the US market. We try to position ourselves as the best engineers, and we want to hire the best. This is something which Jakub said, that you need the best people in your team if you want to make a difference. And I guess it takes time. It takes really time to find good people and to motivate them to be to your company and so on. So that's like I would say the growth of our company. And yeah, we actually 2 years ago our company was sold to a private equity. And I have to say that we are extremely lucky that the private equity company let us do whatever we want. So now we don't have the freedom to do everything, but they still don't touch our vision or what we do and so on. And that's something you might lose a little bit if you give up portions of your company. So that will be what main profit.
Yeah, and the bootstrapping, looking back to your starting years, is okay. So you don't have pitch to the investor, you don't need to write the grants, but still probably the growth is slower. So was it was it your decision just to be on the safe side and don't want to dilute your shares, or why you chose to fund yourself with your revenues?
So actually we tried. So we tried to grow much faster. Like 1 year, we had a vision to grow twice as fast, but we failed a little bit. It was very so we hired a lot of like marketing people, sales people, and we pushed for it. But I would say that we are not like ready for it. We didn't know, and because we went so fast, we didn't at the time we didn't have a good like management structure. As Jakub said, we need to put the right people to the right shoes, and when the CEO and the COO they do everything, it's hard to focus. And we failed to it. It was a little bit setback. So we said that hey, let's just do it slowly and do it the way we know how to do it.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the venture capital soon, but we'll start with the grants, if I may. So my question to Miro, of course, I would be happy to get to know about your company first, and then we talked a lot about grants between us, and I think it was you, and you said that in a lot of cases we need to like break the spell. Yeah, because already Jakub already said that the grants are in most of the time, especially national grants, are connected with a lot of papers, but there are some different approaches. So if you can share your vision on which grants are the best for different sizes of company or stage of development.
Thank you for this question and thank you for the invitation. So at Adson, we empower the entrepreneurs and the founders on their journey. We want to allow them to get the sensible funding for sensible innovation. And I think that this answers the question. So what is sensible funding? Sensible funding is the right funding instrument for you at your stage, which fits with your needs. It might sound trivial, but it's not so easy because the founders often do the mistake that they go to the first grant they spot. And this is not the right approach because the grants have to really fit with your perspective and with your plans for next years. So what we do is that we help companies and founders to select the right instruments. We prepare these grant applications and we also help them to implement these grants. I also act as an angel investor, as you said. And what I think is the right grant is something that you can implement in line with your company strategy. So something that doesn't lead you to another journey, doesn't defocus your company, and doesn't kill your personnel with administration. So these grants, believe me or not, exist, and you can find many of them at the European Commission funding. So these are not the grants that are allocated to Czech Republic or Slovakia. those are the grants that entire Europe is competing for. And we have a lot of success stories at our clients. So it is possible, and it is possible even for companies at the startup stage.
And as Jakub said, that they felt that they need to hire the right people. So it's always a question, what part of those work should be done internally and how the consultant can help. So what is your vision on this?
Yeah, there are companies that can do it on their own, but it means that they will not do other business. Maybe they have more added value in. So to me, it really depends on the resources that you have available. It's also about combination of grants and investments, because as soon as you have investors on board and they don't discourage you from grants, you can use also investor money to invest into grant applications, and this is non-dilutive money. So I think it's really wise to have grants in the portfolio of a company. So to me, it's about specialization. So if the company has large portfolio of grants, it makes absolute sense to have internal people. If this is the first or a small grant for a company, or you need to work on the strategy or funding of the company, it's really wise to invite a consultant or angel investor on board, because you cannot learn all the experience these persons can bring to you, and sometimes you cannot even buy it from the market. So these people do not exist on the market, and they will not come to your company to work for you because you cannot pay them a full-time job. So usually these are the consultants, and it's very important to have KPIs also for consulting. So to have the number of submissions, to have the goals in the financing and so on. So to be really demanding also on the side of consultants. And in that sense, it will pay off.
Yeah. And before I go to Veronica, just information for you that it's not only me who is posing the questions. You will have you have the Slido, you have the QR code there, or you go to slide.do and put the code 14732777. And for those who are watching us online, so you should have the QR code there as well. So I will be happy to pose some of your questions at the end of our panel session. So, Veronica, very glad to have you here. You are a representative of 0100 Ventures. So, what is your focus in terms of investing? What stage you are focusing on, the geographical area and the tickets maybe?
Of course. Also happy to be here. Hi, I'm Veronica. I represent 0100, as it was said. We invest in early stage. How we define it is pre-seed and seed companies. So we are looking for kind of early on traction, but there needs to be some traction. So we're not investing in the idea stage. Typically, we try to be like the first tickets, but very often there are like few angels before us, or like accelerators and so on. So early stage, but with some traction, I would define it. Regarding the focus, we don't have industry focus, so we'll look at practically anything that looks interesting and has potential to grow. But we are geographically focused. So we are trying to target either founders or startups that were built by people from CEE or both Central Eastern Europe and the Middle East. So we balance the portfolio. Mostly we are looking at the Central Eastern Europe, so obviously Czechia and Slovakia, this is where we are based. Then we have another office in Abu Dhabi, one in Cyprus, sort of, but we're trying to cover kind of all of the geographies. So that's very briefly what we cover.
Peter mentioned that they were also considering the investment, but they were not ready. So, Veronica, the question to you is what convinces you that the startup is ready for this investment?
Yeah, good question. It's very individual. First of all, the startup needs to feel ready, because if they don't and they are just considering it, then probably they are not ready. Because if they decide to go for the VC investment, it kind of means the commitment to the hyper growth and really growing super fast. Because this is kind of what the VC funds are looking for. Otherwise, the mathematics behind the fund doesn't add up, and you cannot return it. So in the end, it's not the commitment to just grow the company and build it, but to really scale it and try to go global and bring the super growth. And this is super challenging. It means that for the next 5 to 10 years, it would be just the really growth path instead of maybe having profitable and stable and really good business for you. So feeling like you want to do this, could make you feel ready. And then there are the other aspects, like, do you really have the team ready for it? Do you have the technology ready? Do you know even like what the steps would be and what is the end vision? So kind of like balancing all of these.
Yeah, what we want to talk about is not only different sources of funding, but also about the combination of those sources. So I will go back to you, Jakub, and you already mentioned that you have not only pre-seed, but also the grant, but not only one grant, but several grants. So how it goes together with the VC funding, and how it matches, or what is the main difference in getting funding through grants or through investments?
Yeah, so as Mr. Konechny said, our mistake was that, hey, there's a grant, let's take it, right? And we didn't like really had because there was like so many things we were going through that we didn't have really the time to analyze if it aligns with the vision of the startup. And boy, oh boy, it did not align. I can tell you that. And that was one of the mistakes, I would say. But at our early stage, it can help you with the cash flow. But there's the problem that the grants we went for, like the Technologická inkubace from Czech Invest, Rozvoj podnikání from MSK or MSIS, I'm not sure which one was that, but maybe both, and some others. The timelines of the grants, it usually takes like a year, half a year to submit everything, then half a year to assess it, and because from the law they need to go through all the applications, etc. And you see the money after 1 year. At our stage in Percy, you just cannot predict where will you be and what will you do in 1 year. We just cannot do that. That's like or at least for me and for our team, and I would say that we did even then a pretty good job to predict like where we will be, but it's not possible. So for me, the grants for the early startups, you are moving just so much fast that for us, we even registered that there are different people like starting to communicate from the grant government, from the grant companies with us. So we don't have any more like time to again tell them everything that we are doing, prepare the documentation and everything and so forth, because we are moving just so fast that the grants cannot keep up with you, right? So when you submit the grant submission in January, in 2 months everything can change. And then you are saying to them at a committee, like they're asking you why you did that, and then you need to say, well, we did not do those things, we did this. They're like, oh, well, but it was in the plan, and you're saying, well, that was in the plan, no?
Yeah, so also one purpose of the discussion is talking about the fuck-ups or the bad sides, but so you are talking especially about the smaller grants, like 100,000 euros or so, and but there are some different grants, and let's go to the use cases or the cases of the companies, and my question to you. You are also working with deep tech startups that were successful in much larger grant tickets. So if you can share their approach in combining the investment and the grant money, and maybe how to build a strategy in grant end.
Yes, we have one of these stories in our portfolio. It's the company Diagnostics. It's a deep tech startup in diagnostics of cancer. It's patented diagnostics. We were able to secure 8 million euros in grants for the company over the last 7 years. And the company has also raised 6 million in investments. So you see that it's even more grants than investment, and it can work. So what was the strategy? The strategy was to really look on the instruments that just don't put you in the spotlight, but they also make a value for the company. So for instruments that can finance the stages at which the company is. So it's always a combination of the development of technology, funding the patents and the IPR, intellectual property rights, and also to look for instruments that can also finance the business development. So we were lucky enough or good enough to get the EIC accelerator, which is the for growth of company, from demo or pilot to the like use or the market stage. So that was one of the instruments that we secured. The second one was about EIC transition, which talks about how to transfer technology from research to the application or to technology. This was the second major grant. And then there were some grants for a research stage. So as you may see, this company has heavily invested in their research. So the most of the value of the company is in the research, but it has also to come with a business plan that is convincing enough for investors and also for evaluators, because sometimes the criteria are quite similar. So each of them also wants to see impact not only in the return on investment, but also impact for society or for the customers. So being in the arena of biotech and medtech, the impact is really huge on the health of society, on patients. It can be measured in the years of safe years of life of people, and also investors are eager to see the exploitation strategy, how this will really raise or pay off. So the strategy of the company is to find an out-licensing partner, which was also attractive for grants, because in grants you don't only get the money, you will also get good access to partners with which you can establish pilots, partnerships, value chains. And I think that this is also a great value for the company. So it's not only about money, but it's also about partnerships that you build on this journey.
And in those schemes you are mentioning, so the success rate is very low in general. So what is like the main decision point where the company should think about this grant? Or I would extend the question a little, because maybe this approach that Jakub presented is a little bit about the distraction of smaller grants. So again, I'm going back to the strategy. So what's your approach on this?
Yes, to be successful in grants and also in investments, you need the right team. So the strategy has to be aligned also with the quality of team. And in all these grants, there was also a very strong evaluation criteria on the commercialization strategy of the company. So one of the founders of the company is a seasoned business development person from medtech, and she was really the joker of the company for all these grants, because they are evaluated by an interview panel that is very similar to investment panel. So they also consider the quality of the team in the business development. And this co-founder, who was invited by scientists, and she came from business, has really provided a unique value for the company. So many good tech companies don't possess the business development skills or the market access skills. So if you don't have them, you need someone that will provide you with the skills in your team. So you can either invite a co-founder, you can invite business angels, or you must hire this person. So it's very much about the team, and the strategy was to really look for instruments that are on the ideal track of the company towards the patient or the customer. So I think this is something that evaluators can see whether this instrument is for the company at the stage, whether it's ideal or not. And in our case, we really planned the grants in a sequence that was beneficial or that was accurate for the stage of the company.
And Veronica, so in your portfolio, you have a couple of companies that also received the grants. So I would be happy to hear about them. But before going to the particular cases, I would like to ask your general view as an VC investor on getting grants before you enter the company or after. So what's your approach on this?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think it differs that much. In the end, it's always evaluated, like to what extent does it align with the vision and with the strategy that we as a VC fund had. And it doesn't matter if the grant was received before or after. In the end, The question is how much does it tie the company to different goals that we would expect them to have. So for instance, if they have a grant that is local, it means that they can only spend it either locally on people, for instance, with a Slovak grant, they can spend it in Slovakia. But we need the company to expand to the US because otherwise they cannot scale. Then this could be the issue because it would mean that the priorities for the team and for the company are basically split. And if they got the grant before, then we can just evaluate and see if the company can even potentially align with the vision. If we are already invested, then obviously this is for discussion. If accepting this grant will slow down the progress and so on. Similarly, as you mentioned, like we have several companies that got grants and we like it. Like obviously, we're proud of them. It really depends how each company handles it. So as you mentioned, you mentioned medtech, and that's a very good example. So we have powerful medical in portfolio. They recently announced basically 40 million, which is a great amount of money that will help the company a lot. But every grant, once again, it comes with different processes, different priorities and restrictions. So for instance, they were one of the companies that started expanding into the US. This is what they kind of need to do to succeed. When they get a grant that ties them either functionally, so they can spend it only on research, and for them it's good, like they need to do the research still and it's in development. But for instance, they need the money more for payroll and really like paying the employees. Some grants do not allow this. So this means like the company gets a lot of money but cannot even execute what they get the money for instance. So it's a really a balance of just trying to figure out how this grant fits, and as it was mentioned several times here, like really get to know what the grant is asking you to do and if this makes sense for you.
Thank you. I'm again reminding that you can pose your question through the Slido. If you have one, so don't be afraid and put it there. I will be happy to ask my panelists. You mentioned several times CE region and the US, so my question to you, Peter, is that you have experience in both markets. You are working, you said that the startups are your one of the most important groups of your customer. So you work in startups in the US, so you have the experience on both sides of the ocean. So my question is, what are the main differences between the companies and raising money in these two regions?
So in the US, I think the first difference is the scale. Like over there, it's like scale on both fronts. First is like raising the money is much easier to get higher amounts because the market is bigger and your company can scale much faster. You have much bigger potential to grow. Here in Europe, like we have the disadvantage in the EU that we are fragmented. Like first the language, second the laws. I know that the EU is they realize this and they are trying to do some things differently, but it's a big disadvantage. But I think that in the last 5 years, it changed, like the mindset of like Czech people. 5 years ago, when I talked to someone, they were like saying, "Oh, we'll grow in Czech Republic, and this will be like global, like Czech Republic company." But you need to think globally. You need to think like, "Oh, we'll be European company or we'll be global company." Because when we are working with the US companies, they think this way. They don't even think about the US. They are thinking globally. Like we go first conquer the US, then we'll go the whole world. It's much they have much bigger vision from day zero, and they go for it. So the vision, the goals, the access to capital, like 1 million USD is like usually the basic. That's the starting point there for an investment.
Let's get back to the relationship between the startup and the VC fund. So it's not only about the money; it's like long-term relationship. So I would like to know the different points of view on this marriage from Jakub, maybe from you from first side. So what is like the base from your vision, from your experience, and maybe now you mentioned it, now you are in process of raising the seed round. So where do you see the startup VC fund fit?
Well, I'll be asking for like a little experience, so it's only like one startup, but I would say we are really lucky that the VCs that we raise money from are really hands-on VCs, and that makes a lot of difference. Basically, our like first raise was the accelerator Sherpa in Prague by Czech Founders VC, and that was brilliant. We were from not knowing anything about the startup world to getting to knowing as much as we could in a 3 months period, I would say, and that was really great. So, and their approach was really hands-on, and it was really direct, and that was helpful, and that is also like one of the reasons we were able to raise our pre-seed here in Czech Republic, and even our current investors. I would say I'm just when I was before this event, I was just calling to them, messaging them, and I would say then they helping you in the best way and being really hands-on is just better than if they would just put capital in, sign an SLA, CO, salary or something like that, and then you wouldn't have for them for another 2 years. So I would say hands-on in early stage is really beneficial. And a lot of VCs say, yes, we are hands-on, but and their approach is, hey, call us when you want. But I would say approach really worked for us was like, hey, let's have regular meetings and just really try to be hands-on, because that way it can work. Not only when call us when you want, because many of the times you won't pick up the phone because you won't think, hey, I can call them. But when you are talking to them on a regular basis, it's much easier for them to basically give you advice.
And from your perspective, what is the main difference between pre-seed and seed round? Not only about the
amount of money, yeah, the amount of money raised. Right now, I don't see any differences. Yeah, right now, I would say I don't see any differences. Maybe when we are right now raising seed, we are talking to US VCs, and there you can see the difference in the approach. And, from the here, from VCs here, but other than that, right now I don't see like big differences.
Okay, thank you. Veronica, back to the question of the fit between startup and VC fund. So, what is your perspective on this? And I will extend the question to that a part of the money you are investing. So, what else you are providing to your portfolio companies?
Sure. So first, as I mentioned, like we have some defined strategy. Startups still do not check this when they apply for VC funding. But typically, as I mentioned, like we are geographically focused and seed and pre-seed focused. So it just needs to fit this criteria. And then, as the discussion was here already about the hypergrowth, so we are looking for startups that are basically ready for the VC funding, that are ready to commit and to like scale rapidly, and that have the global innovative potential. So this is something like you may ask, like, why are VCs so obsessed with unicorns? And it's typically because a lot of startups fail. When you have a portfolio basically 20 startups, most of them will fail. It means that one of them needs to be a winner and needs to grow big. So I'll just show you an example. We were evaluating a deal that had an exited founder. He had 3 exits. Now his previous exit was basically at 15 million, which sounds great, but this would not return our fund. So a lot of these, like, just the thinking about like where do you want to see the startup, if you're even thinking about the end goal, this is like what we are looking for in the founder, and that just get regular VC fit. And now regarding the fit for us, as you mentioned, like we try to be hands-on. We typically do this by discussions with the founders. So we have different startups, and everybody wants something a bit different. So we always need to have some some overview of what's going on so that we can prevent any issues before they happen, because there were a lot of issues in the past if you do not monitor it properly. But this is typically done for like regular board updates and just having the discussions with the founders. And then it's not just about like waiting for the call, like, okay, hey, call us when you need us, but also just kind of setting up the partnership more as a partnership. Like, okay, if you want us to be hands-on, we are more than happy to help. So we've been helping our portfolio companies with a lot of ad hoc issues, like when they needed to restructure the organization, when they needed to rework the budget, rewrite the pitch deck. Okay, that's the obvious one where we can help. So this is like kind of how we approach it. Mostly we try to be hands-on, especially in the pre-seed and the very early stage. I think how we help is mostly the business questions. We expect that the startups are experts in the industry in which they are working, so this is the expertise that they need to have. But regarding the business stuff and how startups actually work and how the ecosystem works, this is where we believe we can provide value. And as said, like it differs. If we have founders that have already built and exited free startups, they probably know. So it's probably a bit less hands-on than compared to when we have first-time founders. Probably the biggest value add, what we try to do as 0100, is that we leverage the network that we have. So we have sister companies that do conferences. So we always bring the startups. We know the databases beforehand, so we always do introductions with experts from the industry, with potential future investors, with anyone that could be a good fit for the portfolio company that is attending the event. Moreover, we also have like sister companies that do investor conferences only. So these are not for startups, but we still bring our portfolio companies there. So we try to really bring them to the room full of investors and help them network their way. And it's mostly like connecting them with the experts, potential customers if there is a fit, but mostly it's helping them with the next fundraising rounds, like making sure that when they need to raise the Series A or later stages, we help them to get there. To both be ready and be prepared for the fundraising with all the materials, knowing how to pitch the startup, but also getting the connection and recommending them.
Yeah, the startups are different. The founders are different. So maybe some specific groups of founders are more have some specific problems. So I'm not talking about the women-led startups, and I know that you are running several initiatives to support women-led startups. So my question is, according to your knowledge on your statistics, what are the most important barriers that those founders are facing, and what specific support those projects are providing?
First of all, it's not only about a specific group of females or women. It's about those who don't know that they can do it. So and specifically speaking about women, it's sometimes it's not enough of self-confidence, or just they don't see themselves as entrepreneurs. This is the case always also with scientists, because scientists also don't look like entrepreneurs on the first sight. But if they get to know what is possible, which kind of help they can get, it doesn't mean that you have to do everything on your own. They can imagine themselves in the position. And the same is also with the female talent. So there are multiple statistics on how many women just think about technology startups. And compared to the US, it's like 5 times less than the US. So I think it's, and Europe also struggles in talent in tech startups in general. So it means that we need to somehow activate this talent, show to women that it's possible to succeed, and we have several of these success stories also in the portfolio. We at AdSen are now running 3 projects on the European scale. The first one is about the general entrepreneurship skills, specifically for scientists and the scientific groups that are thinking about spin-offs, and especially about female scientists. The second project is about how to build a company. So it's about mentoring. It's about sharing the knowledge across the female founders in Europe, because Female Founders Forum was the established member of this project. And the third one is about scaling the company, and in particular to coupling the capital of female investors, which are also only few when compared to male investors, and to coupling this with the female funded companies. So it's a really lot of help that is at disposal. Most of these services are free, so because they are paid by the European Commission, and we have a really good network across multiple segments across Europe, and we can introduce these companies to their guides or mentors across Europe. So these services are available. Just the first thing is to think about yourself as entrepreneur, and this is the toughest part, in my opinion.
So if you are a startup that is founded by ladies, so don't be afraid to approach Miro through LinkedIn, for example. And yeah, Peter, when we last met, we discussed one important point that you raised, and it's about the CTOs and the lack of the competencies in startups. I'm not sure if it is region specific. So if you want, if you can expand on this, and I know that you have a specific service on this that is very interesting. So if you can mention it.
Yeah, so one of the services we provide is the fractional CTO, which is very helpful for like a startup. Usually like CTO role, getting someone really experienced on your team is pretty expensive, right? But you can get this guy for a fraction, let's say for 1 hour, 2 hours a week. And this is one of the services which we provide. I usually do this for the US startups. So either we run the whole team or we have just part of the team, and I'm helping them with the decisions because, as Jakub said, building the MVP is the viable product. And in the beginning, there is a lot of things which you can automate. You can also skip, and it's good to know, what makes sense to automate, what helps you, what saves you time in the future, and what will not save you time because you will need to pivot, you will need to change your product. In the first year before you are finding your market fit, you might need to change everything. And it's good to have a good foundation, like technologically, so you don't have to start again from basically zero. So yeah, that's like the role of fractional CTO and basically advisory role. And as you could said, getting advice in any field is very helpful when you are starting out.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And before final round of questions, I have a couple of questions from the audience in Slido. First one is for Veronica. What is the most repeated mistake by early stage founders when they are asking for investment?
The most repeated one is probably not really understanding how VC works before getting into the meeting, because it kind of makes a difference in how the conversation goes, and then not knowing what they are even trying to get. And then it's more just like me questioning them and trying to get there instead of having a more balanced conversation. And the biggest mistake probably is then not defining the milestones and where you want to get with the startup, and more just defining we need the funding because we need 2 years of runway. But I don't see how you get anywhere. So are we just like keeping the company alive, or what is the purpose of the funding? And really, for me, this is the crucial element of the pitch deck, like really seeing where you want to get. And obviously just like knowing what you know and why you are special. This is crucial. Probably the best advice I've heard for startups is to really nail the pitch. And everybody thinks they know how to pitch their company. They've done it a million times. But a really good check is just to pitch it to a family member or a friend who has no idea what you're doing, who doesn't understand the technology, wouldn't be a customer, and is completely outside of your bubble. If they understand what you're doing after the pitch, then it means you're pitching it well, and everybody will understand where you're going. Because you need the Q&A with the investors when you are having the info call or some meeting, and you don't want the questions to be clarifying because they don't understand what you're doing. You want the question to be there because they're curious about what else you have.
Thank you. Another one for Miro. What are some suitable EU funds for early stage startups?
Yeah, it really depends. So to think about or to imagine the landscape of grants of the European Commission, you have to imagine your company or your added value for the society, for environment, and so on. Because this is the difference between the investor money and the public money that is fueling grants, is that they are always looking for some value for the society. So if you are solving a really good problem, most probably in the domain that you are solving the problem, there is funding available. So really look on the domain in which you are providing a good solution. So there are specific grants for different sectors, various sectors where you can fit. And also there are grants that are specifically for startups to make their business plan. So a part of these grants, there are also services like the Enterprise Europe Network or the other networks that are available for these early stage companies. And if you want to go for small and fast grants that will maybe validate your approach or provide you some resources to finalize your business plan, that you can apply for investment or make you ready for with the MVP. There are also they are called cascade funding. These are small grants or sub grants of larger grants. So if you these are fast money, so you can get the money in 3 months, for instance, and you will be asked to provide the results until 6 months or 1 year. And by this instrument, you can get from 50 to 200,000 euros. But they are not open all the time in all domains. So it really depends.
Thank you, and keep the mic. And the final question, now the questions are coming, but just an announcement for the audience right here in the room. So the most of the speakers will be available after for the consultation. So we will be happy to reply to your questions. So the question is about where can I find the list of grants, and then where can I find the list of investors? So maybe you are now involved. So maybe just a very brief question, a very brief answer for this.
Yes, you can consult any AI tool, so it will answer you. But if you want to be sure that it's accurate for you, you need to discuss also with some advisor, or you can discuss with Ivan or someone else who can make the first filter or selection. Or if you are thinking about a strategy for longer term for your existing business plan, you need a consultant. So you can choose one of them. We are also available. But I think that the problem is that usually the companies and the founders, they don't know what they don't know. And this is the biggest problem with grants, that they are really naive sometimes. And I think that also it's the mistake not knowing the evaluators or the perspective of the grant provider. It's the same as with investors. So first thing you need to know is really know your customer. And in this sense, the customer is the person that will approve your grant or will approve the investment. So really attune to this person that you are pitching to, and then you can make a good pitch and a good proposal.
Want to expand?
Yeah, well, for me, the list of VCs you're asking, there are a lot of communities. I would say even now in Czech Republic that gather like founders and startups together. One of them is like the Czech founders community. They have like Slack and everything. There is also like Garage Angels and also many communities for women founders even now in Czech Republic. So when you join some of those communities, there are people who can do hot intros. That is like I would say the biggest and best way to get VC contacted. And then if you ask ChatGPT or anything, even now when I'm doing my seed, I have a CRM or like thousands of VCs just by Googling, and there are Excel sheets and everything, and with emails, and it's basically all over the internet.
So we are coming to the end of our discussion, and my last question to you all is like a final recommendation to the early stage startup that are here watching us. So what would you either from your experience or from your ecosystem, what would you recommend, or what is the final message to those early stage startups? Who starts?
Maybe I can start because my name is Konečný, which means the final one. I will start. First of all, think about the problem that you solve and think about the solution in perspective. So not only about the technology that you have or some idea, but try to make the big picture of your solution. And there is always something that you can get for free. You can get free advice, you can get free partnerships, you can get free invitation, even you can get free beer. What you cannot get is a free lunch, of course, because there is nothing like free lunch. But there is always something that you can get even with small resources. But don't be afraid to raise resources, because this will make you really faster. And you can bootstrap, but this means that it will take a long time and you will not get the scale. So try to combine instruments, really think about where is your competitive advantage, put it in the pitch, put it on the paper, talk to people, get feedback. So there are many things that you can do. This is, I think that you heard this several times, but what is the most important is to start. So when you are thinking, put it on paper. When you have paper, present it, and so on. So if you get feedback, put it into your business plan. So it's always about the action, because if you have anything on paper, it doesn't work. It has to go to people. It has to be in circulation. It has to be driven by some purpose that you have. And I think the purpose is that you want to achieve something. So start, do, and then change and do again.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, the first advice is think big, think global, don't limit yourself, have big dreams. And the second advice is actually like not seek help, but look for help. Yeah, there's a lot of organizations like MSAFE, and for example, our company collaborate quite a lot with Czech Invest in the US. And I talked to other Czech companies that they don't even know that Czech Invest exists, that they can help you, that they can get you free tickets to conferences in the US and around the world. So definitely look, and there is a lot of like states and European things which can help you in your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, very much agree with what was said before. What I would add is definitely, so first advice would be talk to other founders and get their experience. It will give you a research on which funds are active, who to talk to, how to talk to them, and so on. But what they can give you is especially warm recommendations, and these are super valuable because I know that I react differently when someone recommends me a startup versus when I see it in a list of 20 other startups every day. So talk to the others, get the recommendations, and then when you get the meeting, really prepare for it. Not only like knowing your stuff and knowing how to pitch it, but really know what you want to get out of it, except for the tickets. When you think about how you can strategically use the investor sees that you are thinking about the future and how you can use them and how you can build this together. And the discussion is a bit different then.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I would say a lot of the same things as Peter, so think global and think like how to sell and all that. And one thing I would like to say, I read once that when a baby is born in the USA, the parent comes up to the baby, pulls out the pen and asks the baby, sell me this pen, right? And this is, I would say, like the biggest difference between our mentality and the best. From the beginning, they're learning how to sell, and they can sell you anything. Here in Czech Republic, we have like this mentality of like selling our like time or like our like quite like we are engineers, we are doctors, etc. But for a startup, you need to sell, 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 and sell. And you can sell practically anything.
Amen. So thank you very much. Big round of applause to our great panel. Yeah. Veronica, Leo, Peter, and Jakub. And this is the end of our online session. One more reminder, so 14th of September is a deadline for the application for CEST Startup Voucher, so we are waiting for your application and hope to see you pitching there. So, and the last word to Adéla to conclude the event.
Well, we say goodbye to those who are online, and we say get some beer to those who are here. So bye-bye, online world, and now let's get to the tables. There will be like 10 minutes